Traders, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And I say that with some enthusiasm because this is probably not the first time we've met, right? If you've done the Pro and Foundation course, we're very good friends because you would have, maybe you were not because you'd be sick of me, right? After spending all those hours with me. No, but let's be honest, you're probably doing this because you saw the kind of merit and benefit of actually learning from someone who's been there right in the middle of it all, right? So, we all know, you see on TV, all these institutional traders, lots of screens and all that stuff. And it all looks very exciting. And, we all want to learn from them because it looks like they're doing things with such ease, right? And, but it almost feels a little bit untouchable because, we always think they're on the inside. How do we get on the inside? And that's why I put these courses together, Pro and Foundation, and then now the Fundamentals course, which I'm just so excited about. You can probably tell my enthusiasm, right? It's quite scary, actually, the amount of enthusiasm I have. But yeah, the reality is it all seems a little bit out of touch, but the truth is it isn't, and that's why I'm here, to bring that knowledge to you, okay? And you're going to see that. I'm not going to talk too much about what's coming up because I feel like the course just talks for itself. It is an incredible course, okay? And when you're going to see this, right? So the actual proper intro to the course is going to be the next section, the intro to I think it's the dashboard section. And the reason I can't even remember exactly what it's called is because I put it together a few weeks ago, as in I started putting this course together a few weeks ago, and I didn't know how the course was going to turn out. So I didn't want to do this intro and welcome everyone until I'd done the course. It'd be easy for me to sit here and say to you, this course is amazing, it's, unbelievable, and you're going to get so much out of it, and I haven't even built it. You see, it's difficult to do an intro section. Now, I've almost finished the course. I've just kind of gone past, I think we did a 5-hour module on the FOMC. I didn't know I was going to do that when I started putting the course together a few weeks ago. I'm sorry I'm going on, but it's true. And you'll be used to me going on a little bit with the Pro Foundation course if you've done it. But look, the truth is that when I was putting together the Pro and Foundation course, I had no idea how it would turn out. And I think that's why it came out, let's be honest, it's just out there, beyond a country mile further than anything else out there. It is literally groundbreaking, right? Because it's just so different, right? It gives you the raw truth of what is actually going on behind, we talked about at the start, those closed doors that you think when you watch the TV or hear about these institutional traders on trading floors. And the Pro Foundation really gave you not only a deep insight, it put you right there in the center. And when I started this G7FX Fundamentals course, I had no idea how it would turn out. And now that I've almost finished it, I've come back to do this intro section. Now I can confidently tell you, this course is unbelievable. I am so excited for you to be starting. And I can say that confidently because I've almost finished it now. I've just got a little bit of bits just to clean up. So what I'm going to do, I did want to just have a chat, an informal chat, because it does get quite heavy. The course is incredibly detailed. There's a lot of things that you might not be familiar with, right? With the Pro and Foundation, at least you may have had some exposure to trading before. So a lot of stuff may just have not been as difficult. Whereas with Fundamentals, I feel like a lot of it is so new to people, especially if all you've been used to doing is opening up a calendar and saying, hey, there's a piece of data. This is going to be intense, but well worth the effort. And just the final point to make is, I said at the start, we all feel like a lot of this is beyond some sort of invisible wall, on a trading floor somewhere, and we as the general public don't have access to what institutional traders are doing in terms of economic data and how do they understand it, and they seem to do it with such ease. This will completely change that, okay? It's literally, is going to blow you away, but in a good way. Because what we're going to do is we're really going to tear it all apart. Tear the rulebook apart, everything you heard about fundamentals. I'm going to take literally a few minutes and then we'll be done with this section. Like I said, I don't really want this to be a intro of what to expect in the course, because that is coming. I've already done that in the intro section that I started to do right at the start. What I'm going to do just for this section, I'm going to spend a few minutes just explaining to you what the trading floor was like. Very nostalgic for me. I spoke about it in the Pro and Foundation, and in fact, I keep talking about the Pro and Foundation. It's perfectly fine if you haven't done the Pro and Foundation. This is all about developing and understanding from a global macro perspective. The things that are driving the market from a broad-based perspective. So if you've done the Pro and Foundation and you've developed some institutional edge, fantastic, okay? But if you've coming with a different edge, you've developed some edge somewhere else, doing something slightly different to institutional order flow, or you learn order flow elsewhere and you're trying to develop some bigger picture thinking, fine. So you wouldn't have done the Pro and Foundation, and that's okay. Either's fine. The point is, I just want to kind of give you an insight how a trading floor was set up, because I started this off right. I just spent a few minutes now talking about how we feel we're all on the outside and a lot of the stuff people are doing is untouchable. You'll see it for yourself. I won't keep going on about it. You'll see for yourself in this course that it's going to blow that perception to smithereens, okay? It's just unbelievable the sort of things you're going to be learning. I'm going to take you to a level beyond even institutional traders that I used to work with. But before I do that, let's give some perspective. A lot of people don't understand or realize how a trading floor is set up, and I think it'd be quite nice for you to visualize what this invisible wall we all think exists looks like. What's beyond that wall? How are the different departments set up? So what I'm going to do, okay, and you'll know, especially if you've done the other courses, the Pro and Foundation. I love pink, so and by the way, you will have seen, I don't know if you can see it, what's changed. I've got a slightly better camera and a slightly better mic, okay, but apart from that, everything's the same. I still talk a lot, but hopefully useful stuff, and I still use a pink pen, and the quality of information is still stuff you're never going to see anywhere else. So not very much has changed since the Pro Foundation, apart from the camera and the mic. But look, back to the point. Basically, imagine this as the trading floor. And I just want to make sure I'm not blocking anything here. No, it looks all right. So this is a trading floor. Okay, this, I was going to just draw this with a pen, but I just want it to be a little bit neat. Okay, trading floor. Okay, now every trading floor is slightly different. The top investment banks in the world will have massive trading floors. I obviously worked at Barclays Investment Bank, and most of you know that. So this is how we had it set up. Okay, now a lot of investment banks might have one trading floor, right, where they have a huge trading floor with maybe 500 people on the trading floor. Believe it or not, we had a huge trading floor, but it was split into two. Okay, so we had credit upstairs, and then we had equity and rates downstairs. So they split up fixed income and equity and rates, the interest rate business, into two floors. So, but they were virtually identical, but we did have them split. So maybe around 250, 300 people on each floor, rather than 500 on one floor. But what it meant is our organization was just amazing. I mean, it was vast. So I had all the television screens and all of that stuff that you see going on, but it was nothing like what you see on TV. Okay, it was very organized, it was very structured, and I'm going to show you exactly how it was. Very nostalgic for me, brings back memories, but I do remember it like it was yesterday. Obviously it was a few years ago now, but essentially what we had is, so imagine this massive trading floor, right? Huge trading floor. Let me actually see if I can draw a big square here. Just bear with me. I just want to make sure I'm not covering anything. Okay, so we've got a trading floor here. Yeah, is that just cutting my, no, just alright, isn't it? Just missed my face. Might not be a bad thing if it misses my face, or I'm sure you don't want to be looking at my face the whole time, so it's not such a bad thing. But okay, so that's the, so this is the research department. So can you see, nothing's changed since the Pro and Foundation. My handwriting is just as bad. If you did the Pro Foundation, you'll notice my handwriting was bad. So that's the research department, okay? So it would be split into strategy and kind of heavy economics research. Strategy is, you know, just coming up with generally trading ideas, but more from an fundamental or economic perspective. It's is heavily economics based, and then over here you've just got research essentially. So could just say pure economics, and here economic strategy, okay? But for our intents and purposes, all intents and purposes, the whole thing was economic research, okay? Then the way we had it, we actually used to have meeting rooms over here, okay? Just thinking to do it in a different color. Alright, so you had meeting, see-through meeting rooms, lots of meeting rooms. We used to have our 7 a.m. Meeting there, all the traders and salespeople getting together in a big room over here. Okay, very exciting for me as a junior person starting on the trading floor. I remember taking this walk. My desk used to be over here. I did rotate around a little bit, but my desk used to be here, and I used to walk round the side. I remember it like it was yesterday, and there was the little door to the. Sorry, just give me a second. That was the door. There, so, and then used to have, I'm sure it's completely irrelevant, right, but the lifts over here, and then some toilets, restrooms over here, okay? So anyway, these were meeting rooms, and you might be thinking, why am I telling you all this? It's very relevant, okay? And you're going to see that in a moment, and it's fascinating, right? A lot of you won't know this, how a trading floor is actually set up. So you got economic research there. Then you'd have the majority of the traders. Now they were a little bit scattered around. It depends on, you know, is it FX, is it rates, is it equities, and it did depend a little bit. So it was, you know, not as perfect as this, but this is kind of 80% how it is. As in, you might have a few traders scattered around, but generally this is how it was, okay? Over here, okay, so we had another bank of rows over here, okay, and then we finally had a small bank of rows over here. Oops, that one was a little bit bent, okay. Now, by the way, you're more than welcome to skip ahead to the next section if you're not that interested in how a trading floor is set up and the fundamental functions, and you're studying fundamentals. So I want you to know how everything was set up, because I want you to understand how it all worked. I think it's quite interesting, but you're welcome to skip ahead, okay? I don't want to drag this out for anyone who's excited to just jump ahead, but I think it'll be worth your while, you know. You've got about 30, 40, 50, I don't know how many hours it is, maybe 50 hours of me to come, so, you know, I'm sure you can put up with me for a few minutes here. So, okay, we're almost there. So this was, just change the color. This was the sales department. Very important function, okay? They used to bring everything together. This was the trading, okay, and generally market making, okay? So providing liquidity to the market. And then here you'd have a very small bank of prop, okay? So they're not market making, they're not providing liquidity, you know, outside to the market. They're obviously trading the bank's capital. And then you would have some, I guess you could call it other. Okay, then quite a large area here of other functions. So like I said, sometimes you would get some traders, and this desk actually used to go out a little bit further. So it was large, it was vast. Okay, so trading desk would go out over there, and then you might have some other functions over here, like other businesses, because obviously the banks don't just do trading, right? And research and sales, although those are typically considered kind of the bread and butter functions, they do have other functions, you know, like syndicated loans and all sorts of other functions. They even used to have, I think the options desk was over here somewhere, then the forwards desk, and then they used to have a futures desk. And so some of the other functions, which I'm not going to draw out here because it's a little bit irrelevant to what we're doing, but the main functions you always hear about when you're studying at business school and everyone says, what do you want to get into? It's generally, I want to go into sales, I want to go into trading, or I want to go into research. Okay, so those are the main front office functions that are well known. Okay, and then obviously you'll have other functions like options and, like I said, futures desk and a forwards desk and some sort of loan function, syndicated loans and structured financing. And behind here we used to have commodities as well, so a little bit scattered, but generally the main area was split out like this. The reason I wanted to mention this to you, and if you're wondering where my desk was, so I did rotate a lot in my several years there. I was there for quite a long time. I basically rotated between here, okay, and I remember my desk actually right there. So I rotated between both. And what a sales function, I just want to make sure this doesn't. To be honest, the sales function is one of the most important functions, because what they're doing is research is being provided to them, liquidity is being provided to them, and this would be all our customers. So hedge funds, real money funds, asset managers, and even central banks. Massive, right? You're talking massive. And actually, I really enjoyed my time. Obviously, on a market making desk was great, and I learned a lot, obviously, about trading. This was kind of my favorite time here on the sales desk, because I literally would be talking to hedge funds, real money, asset managers, and even central banks, Bank of England. I'll be talking to these guys every day, learning about what strategies they're using. Obviously, you know, and I may have mentioned this in the Pro Foundation, they are very secretive in terms of what they do. So there's only so much you're going to get to know. But come on, you're talking to these guys every day, you build up good rapport with them, and you do learn a lot, okay? And the function here, right, so this function, sales function, when I was on this desk, so I did rotate between the two, my job was to basically provide all of these functions in one. So the trading money market function, the market making, function, the strategy and economic research. So what would happen is every week typically on a Friday, you'll get a weekly research paper, okay, that the economics department or strategy department would send out, and then you'd send that out to all your clients, and then they'd come back with questions. So you'd have to go for a walk, pop down here, ask, or the client will say, hey, I want to place a massive trade in the market. So I would walk over here and then agree a price and basically, you know, kind of structure the deal for the customer. Or obviously when I was spending my time here, people would come to me and then I would provide that liquidity, right? So I would also, whether I'm here or here, basically I would also go down and just, to be fair, it was usually the other way around. I'd be so busy, wouldn't have time to actually walk down to the desk, but strategists, economics, research guys would pop over to me and say, hey, have you seen my latest piece of research? Right, pop down here. Hey, Envy, have you seen my latest piece of research? So when I was on the sales department, they would pop down and say, have you seen my latest piece of research? Send it out to your hedge fund client. Send it out to, you know, we're talking multi-billion-dollar hedge funds who they're probably getting hammered with research from Goldman Sachs, from Citi, from here, from there. Do you see why I wanted you to know this? Because I'm talking about research. And what's this whole course about? It's about fundamental research and how you can apply it and combine it with your trading, right? So your existing edge that you've already been developing, how can you enhance that? That is what these guys were doing. Okay, so you can either consider yourself right now to be one of these or to be one of these. Okay, and in fact, to be honest, what I should have said is this is you right now. Okay, and I don't mean this in a how do I say it? And I don't mean this in any sort of negative way or to mock you. It's the truth, right? Unless you've worked in an investment bank, and I'm assuming 99.9% of people haven't, or even if they have, they may have worked in a different function. You know, maybe in IT or in back office, but they haven't been in front office, then you're basically here. You're on the outside. You don't know what's going on. So, but that's a positive, okay? That's why you're paying me in this course, and I'm going to deliver 10 times what you're paying me, because the reason I wanted to show you this is because what I'm going to do, Pro and Foundation, I've already dragged you into the trading floor. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to drag you essentially to kind of this side, I guess. I'm taking you on a journey through here, you could say. I'm now taking you right into here, because what these guys will be doing, big hedge funds, real money and so on, is they will be utilizing the research that is produced here, okay, combining it with trading knowledge, right, which you've already got. You've got an edge, you've got maybe an intraday trading knowledge. Now I'm going to teach you how these guys have that, but they're now combining it with the stuff that comes out of research. And just to give it some perspective, let me just move this. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot in the next section. I did the next section a few weeks ago, but I remember I did do a comparison, and I talked about how the problem with a lot of retail is, what do? You wake up, you look at an economics calendar and you say, oh yeah, today I've got this piece of data. It's completely amateurish, okay? That is not how it works. So at the moment, again, not a criticism, it's a positive, because we're going to change that. Here you've got your data. I don't know what data calendar you use. Okay, it's very reactionary. It's not proactively taking a step back. You know, a lot of these guys, where I'm taking you now, I'm going to take you to become the elite. These guys will know or be preparing for economic events, for sentiment, or in particular economic events, weeks in advance, okay? You know that is not what you're doing right now. Right now you wake up, you look at your data calendar on the day. Believe me, these guys have already taken their positioning or whatever they're doing way ahead of that, okay? You're so behind the curve, it's unbelievable. You know, just shocking how terrible the understanding is. We're going to completely stop that behavior, and I'm going to show you how it's actually done over here. I'm literally going to drag you from here right through here into the other side, and I'm going to show you exactly what goes on here. That's why I'm so excited for you, because you're going to see how some of these guys, so prop in an investment bank is slightly different to prop externally, in the sense that they are still trading, obviously, I guess, firm funds. In here it's the bank's funds, but they've got access to incredible insight here, you know, things like the research and so on and so forth. And I'm going to actually talk a little bit about what goes on in the research function, okay? But part of the problem, and I talk about this in the intro section, next intro section, is even research. So they will be doing a lot of deep analysis. You know, they might, when we do the inflation section, you're going to see this, and I've just finished recording the inflation section in part 2 of the course. I show you how the CPI basket is created, right? So it's got things like fresh fruit, it's got apples, it's got cheese, it's got, you know, unleaded gasoline or fuel. And this department, so I don't know if you knew this, but to put together a when you see a calendar, an economics calendar, and there's like the forecast, you know, you see the forecast, the way they do that is the big banks, and Barclays was one of those, research department have to submit their prediction for where they think CPI is going to be, GDP, this, that, and then Reuters or Bloomberg will take the median. I think what they do is they remove the top, I don't know, top 5% and bottom 5%, and they leave the middle, so about 80-90% of the submissions in the middle, and then they take the median. That is the forecast. Most people don't realize that, but that is done by taking the research department from all these different banks, you know, Goldman, Citi, Barclays, whatever, the research department has to make a submission. To make that submission, they go into so much detail. They might even do their own survey of, where cheese prices are. And I saw a lot of, to be honest, I know this because I saw a lot of it. And I felt sorry for my colleagues, because I used to have some colleagues when I was obviously on the graduate program and I just started. Some of my colleagues chose research, and I used to see them falling asleep, like doing all this stuff. So I've seen two extremes. Retail, and I mean this in the politest way, completely clueless, right? Literally open up the calendar and say, oh yeah, there's a date today. Oh, brilliant. Above forecast, yeah. That's not how it works, okay? These guys do go into incredible detail, but I've seen the opposite, where they go into too much detail, which tends to happen here in the research department. What you want to do, can you imagine hedge funds, real money, asset managers, even central banks, trading desks to an extent, which we'll talk about because we talk about the Federal Reserve and their trading desk. They get literally, I'm not joking, maybe 100 pieces of research from different banks, research departments, sent to them. I know because I used to send these out. Okay, and you can't sit there and read all of them. You've got to become very good at knowing, okay, this is not rubbish, a waste of my time, and this isn't. And even when I was on a trading desk here, the amount of times I heard senior traders, and even myself eventually as I got more senior, using the F word when a research guy would walk along and said, have you read my piece? It took me a week, to describe inflation. And I won't repeat it here, but I'd be like, look, please, I'm sorry. I just don't have time for that right now, because you'd kind of learn to know, all right, I don't need that right now, or I do, and you'd also learn to do your own work, and you just learn to know what is useful and useless, basically. And that is what this entire course is about. I'm going to show you to build. Firstly, I'm going to take you even beyond anything I saw on the trading floor. I'm going to utilize all the information I learned here. We're going to build an amazing custom dashboard. So you never need to rely on any public calendar again, apart from just for the release to put into your data dashboard. Unbelievable. We're going to build that, and I'm going to show you how to interpret it to such a high level that you could literally be sitting here or here, and when research guys come up to you and you're on a trading floor, you'll be able to say, sorry, I don't need that. And then you say it politely. Obviously you don't need to be rude, although to be fair, they were very rude, people that sat on the trading desk with me. And to be fair, they're under a lot of pressure, millions of dollars they're trading. And I hate to say it, and I have to admit, even I started to become like that. It was good because, eventually I got out because I did want to get more into the prop side, but more of this real speculative prop that you kind of hear of and see using order flow. That was what really fascinated me, which is why I eventually left. And it was a good thing because the environment was here it was very high pressure environment. And here you would have all the TVs that I talked about at the start of this, all the TVs with the news on all the time and so on and so forth. But hopefully that's given you a really good insight and really excited you to think about, wow, I'm actually going to be here, taking my trading to the level of these people and actually beyond, to the customers who used to combine everything together. And really, it really makes you I don't know if using the word perfect trader is, because it doesn't exist, right? There is no perfect trader, obviously always listening, but the most well-rounded trader you can imagine when you learn about this stuff, because you are, you're really learning some high-level macro thinking and it really will take your trading to a completely different level. So look, thank you for purchasing the course. I'm really excited to get it going. You already know it's going to be completely different to anything out there. You already know that, especially if you've done the Pro Foundation, and if you haven't, you're going to see that for yourself as we now go ahead. Take it slowly. I've even got a business plan in there. I talk about how to set out your stall, and take it slowly, okay? No need to rush. This journey is going to be quite long. If you have any questions, obviously let my team know or let me know or whatever. But yeah, really excited to get going. I'll see you on the other side.